perseverance of the saints, is it true? Or once saved, always saved? Some dispute the idea that once the Christian is saved, they're always saved. Some say that that's not so. They can fall away completely and fall 100% out of grace and wind up in hell. But there are many reasons to affirm the reformist view of once saved, always saved. Perseverance of the saints. There's a number of good verses that support it. Now, in Philippians chapter 1, verse 6, we read essentially that God is the author and finisher of our faith. He starts a process and finishes it. And this is echoed by Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2, which essentially says the same thing. God starts processes and he finishes any process he starts. He does not commit spiritual abortions. Only humans start programs or processes or start to do a chore and may finish it halfway and say, the heck with it. We all do that. But God is a perfect being. He doesn't do that. He follows through with everything he does. And it's a completely singular work of God. What's that word? It's a theological term. The work of God is monergistic. It's singular. We can't do it. We can't save ourselves. We're depraved. We can't measure up to the righteousness of God. No, we can't. We have to wear the righteousness of Christ. The Lord is our righteousness. And the process of salvation basically starts from eternity past, God's foreknowledge, and it ends with the perfection of the Christian individuals. You can see this in Romans chapter 8, around verse 29 through 30. Now, if you look in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, Jesus talks of his sheep and his followers. And if you go to verse 29, it says, "My Father who has given them to me is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch them out of the Father's hand." He's saying basically that he can't lose any of his sheep or his followers. They stay with him. Jesus is a perfect shepherd. If one of the sheep goes astray a little bit, he's going to go get it back. These sheep are not perfect, but he will not lose any of them, according to the scriptures. And let's look at a human being like Peter. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Now I ask you, was Peter lost? Did he fall completely out of grace and salvation when he denied Jesus? I don't think so. Deep down he still believed in Jesus and was sick at heart, and he's probably terribly heartbroken. And he was weak. Peter was full of faults. But he never stopped believing in Jesus. Never. He didn't lose his salvation. Now there's also a human analogy here, the parent-child relationship. If you're a parent, you have children, you love them no matter what. They may, during the time you're raising them, roughly a 20-year duration, they may slip and fall, commit all sorts of rebellious acts, even getting involved in vandalism, but you still will love them. You'll be angry at them, and they'll be angry at you. But no matter what, you will love your children. You won't disown them. You won't throw them away. You will keep them no matter what, through thick and thin. God is a higher parent and a more perfect parent. There's rewards and punishments, and he wants us to do what's right, and he wants us to improve over time. But the Christian cannot ultimately lose his salvation. Once saved, always saved. I have to agree with the doctrine. I have to admit that people are very imperfect, and that includes me. As all Christians, I sin every day, and even sin deliberately. Anyone who says they don't is a liar, as far as I'm concerned. And it's possible that perseverance of the saints is incorrect. There's verses in the scriptures that can be used against it, and there's verses in the scriptures that support it. But I think the weight of the evidence is for it. So I accept perseverance of the saints and the reformist view of theology, essentially. But anyways, I thank you for listening, and I invite any responses as long as they're cordial. Cordiality is something that we should practice.